The small town of Uniondale in the Lions Karoo has been on the map since 1856, and every year for the last 2 decades, it comes alive in early spring with the arrival of thousands of mountain bikers for the annual Lions Karoo to Coast race. It's one of the longest running point-to-point one-day mountain bike races on the calendar. The iconic route takes riders up and over the Prince Alfred's Pass to finish just short of 100 kilometers later in Knysna. The vibe is set the night before the race with a pasta dinner for the riders who are camping overnight. The race is an important fundraiser for the organisers, the Uniondale and Knysna Lions communities.
There's certain side initiatives that we fundraise out of this event. There's Guide Dog Association that we sponsor to train guide dogs for the blind, and then in our community itself we do a lot of eye tests for elderly people, and then cataract operations that also get funded out of this event. So yeah, it's an important fundraiser for the Uniondale and Knysna Lions Club to fundraise our projects throughout the year.
A coffee kickstart for the riders early the following morning as they prepared for the challenge of taking on the Lions Karoo to Coast.
I think it's going to be a super nice ride, but tough. Yeah. We're gonna enjoy the downhills though.
I'm very happy to see that there's no wind predicted for today, so that's a good win. It's a bit fresh this morning, but I think it'll heat up nicely, and then hopefully the legs will play along.
The event provides a massive boost to the economy of Uniondale.
Well, obviously tourism is a big factor, especially within our municipality. We are driven by tourism, and this brings a lot of people to our garden route. We talk about 1,700 entries, so it's a lot of people and a lot of families attending as well.
The front row of the start line was littered with top riders keen to be on the podium in Knysna, like Catherine Collane.
I go to Knysna quite a bit, so I know that side of the mountain quite well, but this side I got no idea. I just know it's going to be really hard, really fast. It's going to be, just putting foot down and just trying to stick with the men.
I'm not exactly sure who's here, but yeah, I hope there's some competition. I think it will definitely be. I'm pretty excited. My first Karoo to Coast, so let's see what we can do.
The shotgun went off and they were away. George Strongman Vickers Boshoff decided to tackle the race on his gravel bike. For the most though, this was one for the mountain bikes. Arnie Oosthuizen in the yellow kit shadowing Catherine Collane early on. Once on the old Uniondale Vaarpad, the tempo was ramped up. And doing the damage was Team Honeycomb's Tristan Norkeer. On his wheel, Jaden Durant, Johan van Zyl and Cronje Beekes. Norkeer is in good form, having won the Trail Seekers Series race in Wellington a week earlier. He's preparing for the Gravel World Championships in Belgium in early October. Despite that, he was on board his full suspension mountain bike. His powerful start on the Vaarpad had shattered the group behind him. Collane had also made a good start, and it opened a gap to her closest rivals as she towed 2 men up the trail. The first water point was at the top of the old Vaarpad at 10 kilometers. Too early for these front runners to require food and drink now. Beekes of Titan Racing and Durant were now together in the chase to close the gap to Johan van Zyl. Further back, it was tongue-biting time already. The amateurs and weekend warriors got to grips with the challenge ahead. In the drag towards the base of the Prince Alfred's Pass, Van Zyl, Beekes and Durant were reunited. Almost apple blossom time in the Lions Karoo. Arnie Oosthuizen in the yellow was the rose amongst the 3 thorns. Across the R62, Johan van Zyl applied the pressure. Oosthuizen was keeping tempo. Catherine Collane was building a solid advantage over Oosthuizen, and the perennially strong Charisse were late in third. After 22 kilometers, the pass gave the riders a super fast descent. Plummets down almost 400 meters over 15 kilometers. Completed by Sir Thomas Bain and his crew in 1867, Prince Alfred's Pass is at 69 kilometers, the longest publicly accessible pass in the country. The dry stone walling a testament to the supreme skills of the stonemasons of the time. Tristan Nortje was showing the field just how classy he is as he approached the Biffles Neck water point at 55 kilometers with a substantial lead over Johan van Zyl. Bjerkes had a puncture on the descent into De Vlucht. The single-digit temperatures for the morning had given way to a balmy spring day, a stark contrast to the storms that battered the region a year ago, resulting in the cancellation of the 2023 race. The bottom of the pass at De Vlucht was a rare spectator point and a chance to rest for some riders. Most, though, just charged through this quaint settlement, for up ahead lay more challenging climbs. The road surface was pretty good, and the spirits among the riders very high. The Lions Karoo Coast is back as an official Cycling South Africa seeding event. Response from the riders was incredible. Close to 2,000 took to the start line this year. The route is very special. Come from as far afield as Namibia and Zimbabwe to take it on. For many, it's their first race after winter, an unofficial seasonal pipe opener if you like. Not too technically challenging, and regular roadies take it on. It's also a good test of stamina and endurance for those looking to push themselves a little bit further than their previous limits. It's manageable on a pink gravel bike as well. Ronje Bjerkes had found Jaden Durant after puncturing, and the pair were working hard to try and close the gap to Johan van Zyl in second. There were 9 water points along the way, well frequented by tired and hungry riders over the second half of the race. There was no shortage of options to take advantage of at the water points. As hard as they tried, riders found it difficult to resist the food on offer. And a chance to take a selfie. Was that an onsie? The road undulates after coming out of the pass. Riders could just about feel the coastal breeze as they closed in on the lush forests of Knysna. In those forests, Toyota Specialized rider Johan van Zyl was charging along the flat, smooth roads. He was in second place. There was a little bit of a headwind to deal with as well. Leader Tristan Nortje was over 5 minutes up the road. His eyes now were fixed on breaking the course record, which had stood since 2012. Further back, things were rolling along a little slower. The Squirt Cycling Products water point was a chance for bikes to get a little chain love and lube, and riders to refuel. They were over the halfway point. Most of the remaining kilometers would be downhill. The stunning Sandparks Diepwallen forest was a sign that they were closing in fast on the finish in Knysna. This is a hidden gem in South Africa's richly diverse tourist routes. Thick indigenous forests and bush. Sandparks have a tented camp deep in the forest. And they allowed the riders to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their smooth roads as they pedaled steadily towards Knysna, while making the occasional stop along the way. There were 4 water points over 18 kilometers in the last 25 k's of the ride. No excuse for not making it to the finish. Catherine Collane had a big lead over the new second place rider Cherise Willate in the women's race as she pushed on through the forest. Running under the N2 and up the stairs, Tristan Nortje was on the charge. The headwind was brutal, but he was able to break Charles Key's record by 2 minutes and 42 seconds with a time at 3 hours and 31 seconds.
I knew that first climb, so yeah, I knew the course record was on the card, so yeah, I just tried to get away as early as possible and ride my own race, because I knew if I ride my own race I can ride my own pace, otherwise the other guys are just sitting on and everyone's looking at each other. So yeah, I just tried to get away early and ride my own race. I didn't know any of the route. I know the last downhill, Samola down, that's all I know. And then this last K to the finish, that was all headwind, so yeah, that's the only places I know on this course.
Catherine Collane took a commanding win in the women's race.
I knew I had to push it really hard in the start if I wanted to get any sort of advantage on Cherise and Leonie, because I know they are really strong, and I know Cherise is like a dog with a bone. When she gets the rhythm, she's not going to let up. So I just kept pushing, and every climb I just kept going, and so it turned to be like a lonely day.
3 hours and 53 minutes was Catherine's winning time. Cherise Willate was 11 minutes and 42 seconds behind her in second place.
It was amazing. The route was absolutely fantastic. So many marshals out there. The water points were fantastic, well stocked, and just all around super friendly people out there. I took a bit of a sabbatical of training for 3 months, so jumping back in the deep end, it was really tough. Definitely not all downhill, but yeah, what a way to come back, what a race to come back, and enjoyed every second of it.
1,175 riders finished the Lions Karoo to Coast in 2024. Congratulations to them all. A beautiful event. It really is one to put on your calendar in 2025.